gentlemen, I just want to make sure we're all explicitly clear. If that was your last vocab quiz, wouldn't I have been excited about it and been like, oh my God, last vocab quiz? Did I say it was your last vocab quiz? So is it your last vocab quiz? No, because when we hit milestones, I acknowledge them. We have not hit a milestone. You will be taking 4 vocab quizzes a week going forward. You have until the last day of your exam, dude. 3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a test tomorrow, 25 questions. I'm finishing content here in about 22 minutes. We will be done in APComp. Then, tomorrow you have a test, 25 questions, multiple choice. Your final focus is due tomorrow. Your final vocab is due tomorrow. On Friday, you'll get a whole new scope and sequence with all of the expectations laid out for you, and you will know exactly what is up. Oh, and you're going into writing week. That's what I like to hear, David. That is what I like to hear. Did you hear that? Yes, the genuine enthusiasm for content. It's going to be amazing. So, content is over, and if you thought content was hard, welcome to review. Here we go. Nigeria is where we left off. Of course, it's our final country. Once we finish today, we have finished all 7 of our countries. Isn't that exciting? Aren't you relieved to be done? I am. I'm pretty stoked. Here we go. So yesterday we started talking about oil, and we started talking about how 2 major countries played huge roles in driving up the debt ratios of Nigeria. What 2 countries play huge roles in the debt ratios of Nigeria, Jack? There you go, Great Britain and Germany. Keep in mind, just because Nigeria has oil beneath it doesn't mean it can access it. Hello, yes or no? No, it is very hard to get it. So you have to have the technology, and those are coming from your modern countries that have the technology and the power to do it. So what is going to happen is that Nigeria is going to go into crazy debt. They're making about 50% profit off of their oil because the UK is taking so much and just pulling out the oil for Nigeria. They are taking the profits for themselves, and it is a huge depletion of resources. With that being said, all of Nigeria becomes completely dependent as a rentier state on oil. It is going to cause an economic dependence on European countries. Good look or bad look? Bad look. So what we are going to see, we talked about yesterday, right? The World Bank and our International Monetary Fund, yes? Hello? Okay, so what country uses the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank the most out of all 7 of our countries? Which one is it, Annie? Oh, you weren't here yesterday. That's mean. Sydney, what country uses it more heavily than any other? You got 7 choices. You got 1 in 7 choice. I taught this to you. Huh? Nope. Taught this to you yesterday. Emily. Nigeria uses it more than anything else. They take out loans and they pull themselves out of debt starting in the 1980s. Today, is Nigeria in debt to the UK and Germany? No. They have restructured their debt, and this should be the last thing you have in your notes. And they have transitioned their economy to what type of economy, Reagan? What's it based on? It's no longer based on oil. It's now based on? Well, look at your notes. Caitlin? It is technology. So they have readjusted their debt. They have shifted it, paid back a ton of it. They are now an independent nation. They are no longer in debt to the UK or Germany. Is that impressive? They're one of the few countries of Africa who've been able to do it. That is why their GDP is so strong. That is why their economy is so strong. What do you got, Desmond?
If they are tech, economically based countries, why are they still called rentier states?
They're still called a rentier state because their GDP is still over it, but they're actually working backwards. Other rentier states like Iran is doing nothing about that bottom line of oil. Nigeria is the only one trying to pull it back of its complete dependence on it. Iran is leaning into it. Mexico is leaning into it to a degree. It's starting to do more manufacturing, but Nigeria is the only one to really compensate for it. What is the second country that I've taught you that also uses the World Bank and International Monetary Fund? Second most of our 7 countries. Jake? No, UK does not use it at all. Why does the UK not use it at all? Selena, why? Huh? Well, no, just you don't have to be based on oil to do it. Emerson, why doesn't the UK need it? Okay, why?
Because they have their.
Because they're what? David, why doesn't the UK use World Bank or International Monetary Fund? That doesn't make sense, David. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to explain why you keep saying they are the debt, which is weird.
They're the ones charging.
No, they are power on both of those councils because they are what, David?
Most powerful.
Because they are what, David? Why are they the most powerful, David? What do they have plenty of? Yes, David. Yes. Okay. The UK does not need it because they have tons and tons of money. They are probably the 3rd wealthiest country on the planet. Okay? United States. China. Haven't we talked about this 1,000 times in this class? Okay, so Mexico is the second most of the 7 countries. UK does not use it. Who else does not use World Bank or International? Give me another one that does not use it, Jimmy. China does use it, so no.
Russia.
Are we just going through all of them? Russia doesn't use it. Why does Russia not use it?
Because they're rich.
Russia is not rich. Their economy is in complete free fall right now, so no. Why isn't Russia using it, Nick? What? Why won't they give them money? That's not actually a bad answer. Weird the way you said it, but it is actually correct. Yes, sanctions. That's why. You can't just say because they can't get money. Sanctions. Russia doesn't get any money from World Bank or the International Monetary Fund because of sanctions. What is another country that does not have access to World Bank or International? This is review, by the way. Brit.
Iran.
Why?
They have sanctions on them.
Sanctions for human rights violations. What is another nation out there that does not need it or does not use it? There's only one more country out there, so are they using it or are they not? Grant. Mexico is using it. They're the second most. It's China. China, are they using it or not, Desmond?
Yes.
Well, you got a 50-50 shot. Are you going yes or no?
Can I pick a time period?
Fine. Actually, that's not a bad answer. I'll take it. What?
Okay, so they used to use.
Yes! They used to use it, but now they
Independent and out of debt.
Okay, they are out of debt, and because they call themselves developing, but are they developing?
No.
No, because they are defaulting on, they don't want to default on all their loans, so they're staying out of it, so they've stopped lending to them. I'll accept. All right, here we go. All right, economic, you need to know that Nigeria is part of ECOWAS. Write it down, this is new content. ECOWAS is the economic community of West African states. Nigeria spearheads it. Why does Nigeria spearhead this, Brooklyn?
Because they're the wealthiest country.
Yes, they're the wealthiest country in Africa. What is another reason, Brooklyn? There's 2 reasons they're the wealthiest. Why are they the wealthiest? They have the...
They have the oil.
No. Other countries have oil, even though they do have a huge reserve of oil. David? They have the largest what, people? Mr. Clark? Yeah, military doesn't actually play a big one in this one, and it will in the next one. Guys, they have the largest GDP, and they have the strongest economy. Yes, those are 2 different things, but they do have interaction. You need to know that. You need to know that Nigeria spearheads this because of their large GDP and their consistent economy. Make sure you know that. They created this, they spearhead it, they lead it. Is it successful? You have 50-50 shot. Yes or no? Yes, it is very successful. Go. Okay, your next thing that you need to know. Nigeria is a part of the African Union. What do you think the African Union is, Ian? All the countries together in Africa, and it's modeled after what, Ian? UN, that's United Nations. There's another one that comes with a union. Oh no. What do we got? Mr. Clark?
EU.
It's modeled after the EU, the European Union. Remember Brexit, UK, all of those components. Okay. You need to know that Nigeria leads it. Why does Nigeria lead this, Jimmy? They are the wealthiest. They have the largest GDP and the largest economy. What is the second major reason why they lead the African Union, Katie?
Because they have the largest GDP.
Well, we just talked about it. That was Jimmy's answer. So they have the largest GDP and they have the most stable economy. What is another reason why Nigeria leads the African Union? What else do they have the biggest of?
Military.
Yes, they have the largest military. Ladies and gentlemen, who leads the United Nations? Why do we lead the United Nations, Desmond?
Because we're the superpower. And
Okay, but we're the superpower because we have the largest economy and we have the largest military, Desmond. That's the tie we're
I was
making.
gonna say nukes, but I knew that wasn't right, and it just kept popping up.
Sounds like more of an internal problem than a me problem. Okay, so you need to know Nigeria is the leader of the not of the European Union, because that would just be wild, of the African Union. Okay, you need to know the basics. Here we go. So you need to know that Nigeria is a democracy, but it's fragile. What does the word fragile mean? Ethan? Unstable. So what does a fragile democracy mean, Ethan? Unstable. When you say that, I don't know if I like unstable. Oh shit. No. When you say, I don't like your definition, Ethan. Because when I think fragile, I think glass. And glass can sit on a table and be stable. What would be another way you could describe the definition of fragile, Ethan? Give me another term.
Easily influenced.
Oh shit. You think my glass cup is easily influenced?
We're not talking about a glass.
Well, it
cup.
can be, because when I see a box of fragile, I'm assuming it's glass.
Nigeria is not a box.
Yes, you are correct. It is not a box, but another term for fragile. Mr. Clark, help me.
Breakable.
It's breakable. Keeping it simple, stupid here. Okay, it's breakable. So, what is a fragile democracy, Mr. Clark? A breakable democracy. And what is a breakable democracy? What does that mean? Put a time limit or some sort of frame on it.
Get taken down easily.
There you go. It can collapse. A fragile democracy may or may not be there in 10 years. That is the mark of a fragile democracy. Nigeria is a fragile democracy. So do we have definitive hope that Nigeria will be there in 10 years? No. Could it be there? Yeah. May it not be there? Yes. What is the most stable democracy in the world, Riley? It is the UK now. It used to be us. We got downgraded last year. Okay? It is the UK. It is a democracy. It's a little clamped. You need to know Nigeria is a democracy, but it's fragile and may not be there in 10 years. You need to know that Nigeria is a federal system. A federal system means what, Ford?
Means that the local governments also have powers shared with them.
There you go. local governments, but there's an asterisk next to it because it's also has a lot has more power to the central government than it does to the states, so that's why you should know it. How many states does it have, Alex?
30 something.
Okay, well, how many?
34.
36 states. You need to know. Pick your head up, Alex. It is 36 states and one capital city. You need to know that the capital city is Abuja? Sure. That is your capital city. You need to know that it is a territory, which means it does get representation. What other country capital city gets representation in its legislature? Sophia? What? What country? No. Okay, DC. Fine. I meant of my other 7. Okay. I heard you're DC, and I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about, Sophia? The United States is DC, does get it, fine. But what of my 7 countries gets it, Britt?
Mexico.
Mexico gets it. This is review, by the way. You need to know it's a presidential system. It wasn't always a presidential system. It used to be a parliamentary system. You also need to know it's a bicameral system. What are the names of the 2 houses? If you did your little diagram, you should have it. Annie, what are the names of the 2 houses of the Nigerian National Assembly? They're exactly what you think they are, Annie. There you go, the House of Representatives and the Senate. You need to know that there are very few checks and balances. Write it down. Why are there very few checks and balances in Nigeria, Sydney?
Because there's more power in the central.
No. It's more of a unique Nigerian problem. Lucas, well, give me something.
I was gonna say because it's like the UK, but
No.
come on.
No, that's not it. Jake, why? What makes Nigeria different from all 7 of our 6 other countries? Why is there less checks and balances? Why can't the judiciary keep the executive in check?
Oh, there's like a
No. Riley? No. Emerson. Yes. Corruption, ladies and gentlemen. Corruption. Military coups have stripped powers away from the 3 separate branches. Write it down. You clearly don't know it. Okay? The 3 branches of government have been stripped by all these military coups. They are less independent than they previously were crafted to be. Okay. Executive branch, here you go. In your executive branch, you have a president and a cabinet. How many members are in their cabinet, Selena? Oh my God, that would be obscene. That would be completely obscene if it was 100. It's already huge. What is it, Brennan?
is it 5?
No, it is not 5. It is huge.
Well, you said cabinet?
Yeah.
Oh, like 5,000.
Dude, that's not a cabinet. That's like a legislature.
Oh.
Yeah, no. How many, Alex?
300.
Alex, what is the other number I asked you for?
The states. Oh, 36.
36. Let's write that down, shall we? Because every state gets a what vocab term requires that every state gets a cabinet position for it? Federal character, which is why you should all know that answer. That was painful. That was painful. Here we go. You need to know that the executive can serve 4-year term, a total of 2 terms. Do they follow this? No, because we have a ton of military coups and all that stuff, so no. You need to know that the presidential election will not go over 2 rounds. That the president has to get at least 25% of the votes from each 2/3 of the state. Why is the threshold so low, Reagan? Because here in the United States, you have to have 51. Why is it so low? What makes Nigeria unique, Reagan? Oh, you're killing me, Reagan. Brennan.
There's so many tribes, so I mean,
Yes, that is so diverse. 150 backgrounds. Prebendalism requires putting your tribe first. People prefer their own people over others. All of those things carry through. Here we go. Okay, the executive. Here's a big thing you need to understand about the executive, ladies and gentlemen. They can appoint their own officials without legislature approved. Is that how we do it here in the United States, Nick? Yes or no? Who has to approve the presidential appointees, Nick? Okay, what specific aspect of AP Gov? You have a 50-50 shot, Nick. Huh? Senate has to approve here in the United States. In Nigeria, none has to be approved by the legislature. This opens the door to what, Jordan? Yes. So you can hire a complete, absolute moron to do a job as long as you're appointed by the president. Guess what? You do get to keep the money and you do get to keep your jobs. Okay. You need to know. This is the weirdest thing about Nigerian politics, and it honestly blows my mind. Write this down. Put a big star. It's very strange. The Nigerian president receives a check of all oil profits. Yeah, exactly. And then is responsible for distributing it. Ladies and gentlemen, how often do you think Joe Biden touches cash? He does. He makes like $400,000 a year. It's not that much. That's not how presidents make money. When he gets bribed, jeez, dude, you don't say that about the U.S. president. Jeez, dude. Oh my God, have you learned nothing in this class, dude? Okay, does Joe Biden touch money? No, they really don't. Huh? When he does buy ice cream, that's true. He does leave the White House often to go get ice cream. But honestly, Jenny's ice cream is the best. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. president does not touch money. They talk about money in concepts. It's not like a thing. The Nigerian president gets a check in their hand and then is responsible for literally handing it out. This is absolutely a perfect example of what? Of what? Stupidity and corruption. Can we agree? Now, why is this such a red flag? Because what is the Nigerian president obviously going to do? Yeah, they're going to take, maybe not all of it, but they're also obviously going to skim off the top, because if you had all this cash in front of you, you would totally take some too. Oh my God, Jordan would not do it, but the rest of us would. Okay? Jordan wouldn't, but the rest of us would. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what type of corruption. Now, the question you should be asking, instead of asking, oh my God, that's so stupid, why would they do that? You should not be asking, why would they do it? Why do they continue to allow it to occur? That's the question you should be asking. Why do they continue to allow it to occur, Brooklyn?
Because bribes and
No. Why do they continue to allow it? Because keep in mind, everyone knows this is wrong, right? The president should not have all of the oil resources in their hand and then is doling it out to people. That seems crazy. But they continue to allow it to occur. And they know this corruption is happening. Why do they allow it to occur, Sophia? No. Emily? No. Well, oil is, but why are they putting it all in the hands of the president to dole it out? Why, Ethan?
because it benefits them.
Okay, well, you have to give it a little bit more frame of reference. What do you mean?
Then why leave it?
But if you are the president and you are doling it out to your tribe and I'm not part of your tribe, that doesn't help me, but I'm also not changing the law to change the rules. Why? Why? Yes! It is about the future corruption of the money. Fine. They're not in control of this amount of the money, but they could be in control of the next. Damn. That's wild. Anyway, you need to know that the president controls all the armed forces. In Africa, is this a big deal? Yeah, of course. Controlling the Nigerian military, it's the most powerful military in Africa. You also need to know they can veto. Come on. Okay, 2 major presidents that you should be aware of. The first one is Goodluck Jonathan. Yes, that's his name. That is his name. That is his given name. His parents decided that was the name he was going to have. He is the most popular president in the history of Nigeria. He's obviously a little corrupt, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Okay, and then we have the current president.
This is like just had an election.
Yes. I don't know what political party it was. I'm trying really hard. I had to learn all of this for you for this week. Here we go. Bureaucracy is your next heading. Okay. Which branch is the most powerful? The executive branch is incredibly powerful. The bureaucracy. You need to know, we describe Nigeria's bureaucracy as bloated. Yeah. What does bloated mean, Jack?
Like, I don't see that.
It's not fat. It's more than fat, right? When you're bloated, you're not full. You're like full. Like it literally hurts to digest. You've eaten too much. Bloated is the government is full and then you have overextended it. That's what a bloated bureaucracy is. Is it a positive connotation or a negative connotation? It is an absolute negative connotation, and very few governments are described as bloated. You get top heavy, you get overextended. Very few are referred to as bloated, and it's a very negative connotation. Parastatals or whatever is the next term. You need to know it is a blend of private and government institutions for utilities. Utilities are internet, electricity, water, the basic functions. These are private companies. So there's private electric companies that get a government leader to lead the company to ensure equal access. Is it going to ensure equal access? No. Private companies led by a government official is like the antithesis of productive. There is more corruption at these types of companies than anything else. So, is it a good thing when the electricity, the water, and the internet companies are super corrupt? Because that means basic functions are easy or hard? Really hard. You need to know that Nigeria is trying to go to a state corporatist perspective. Write it down. State corporatism is that they are trying to crack down on the abuses. It's not going so well. Why is it not going so well? Because it's everyone doing it. Okay, the legislature is your next heading. You need to know that the legislature is called the National Assembly of Nigeria. You need to know it is bicameral, which means it's 2 houses, and the 2 houses are the Senate and the House of Representatives. Both senators and representatives do 4-year terms. Here in the United States, what does a senator serve, Britt?
6 years.
6 years. What does a House of Representatives serve, Riley? No. Every 2. Okay? In Nigeria, it's every 4. You need to know that the Senate has 109 people. 3 people per state, 1 person from the capital. In the United States, the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., is represented in one of our 2 houses. Emerson, what house is D.C. represented in? You have a 50-50 shot. You got a 50-50 shot. That's pretty good odds.
I'm thinking.
Okay, then pick one.
House representative.
Facts. Yes. There is no DC representation in the Senate, but they do get a vote in the House. You need to know that the Senate is the most diverse legislative body in the world. Why does that make sense, Alex?
Because there's one from each state.
Okay, but why does it make sense for the whole world, Alex?
Because Nigeria is the most diverse place.
Yes, there you go. Okay, so the House of Representatives, you need to know it has 360 members. You need to know that it has the lowest female representation in the world. Okay, you also need to put a big star. It has practically no power. Here in the United States, who is the workhorse? The Senate or the House of Representatives, Selena? The House. In Parliament, which of the two houses does the Prime Minister come from, Sydney? You got 50-50 shots, bicameral in the UK. What do you got? No, they don't have a House of Reps in Parliament.
Good afternoon, Pam Panther.
House of Commons is where they come from, and they're the ones who actually do all the work. In Nigeria, the House of Representatives have no power. The judiciary, here we go. You need to know that the judiciary is not independent. The judiciary is not independent, which means they can be bought, they can be persuaded, they can be politically manipulated. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You need to put a big star. Corruption is so bad. There are judges who don't know the law. Why is that a concern, Brooklyn?
Because they cannot uphold it and break the
Oh, that is a wonderful turn of phrase. They can't uphold the law if they don't know the law. Brooklyn, so proud. Okay, so the judiciary is not independent. It is super corrupt. There are judges there who do not know the law. It technically has judicial review, but it does not use judicial review. Why is that? Why doesn't it use judicial review, Ford?
Because they don't have power to check.
Yeah, because what has occurred in Nigeria too many times? Grant? Military coup. Oh, you also do need to know that there are 12 states in Nigeria that use Sharia law. And where are all of these states? Annie, not Annie, Alice. I like your nails, by the way. Cute.
They're in the north.
Yes, they're in the north. And what geographic difference makes it in the north?
It's mountains.
Yeah, there you go. Really hard to get to. All the things. Nice. By the way, its military is really strong. You need to know they use two terms to describe the military. It's the military and government means the coup is happening. Military and government means the government is controlled by a coup. And then you have military and barracks, which means the government is run by politicians. So when we talk about the military, there's two terms you need to know. Military and government, which means there's a military coup in place that has taken over. Military and barracks means that the government is being run by politicians. Obviously, it's a fragmented multi-party system because it's the most diverse group in any of the 7 countries. Okay. Its interest groups are usually based on religion. And a couple things you should need to know. Nigeria does have an independent press. You should write that down. Nigeria has actually one of the freest presses around. The UK and Nigeria have the two freest presses of them, of the 7 that we study. Okay? You should know that radio is one of the most influential aspects over the politics of Nigeria. Give me 2 countries that have the lowest freedom of the press. Give me one. Jake.
China.
China, absolutely, all day. China has one of the lowest. Emily. Iran, absolutely, all day. Oh my God, aren't you guys enjoying the review as we're learning content? Guys,